This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. This One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, just here ready to talk about some Stardom exclusively on this show. So this is like a real special edition, actually.
Yeah, I think it's the first time we ever did a exclusive Stardom only show, and I think it's appropriate given that this show is going to be a show of the year contender. This shit was unbelievable. But I guess before we actually get into it, Rich, without further ado,
you just got to hit the music.
Yeah, man, so, damn, this show was fucking crazy. Stardom, All-Star Dream Cinderella, from March 3rd. The first show, that was an international pay-per-view. Americans actually watched this live. I did it myself. Spent $46 for it. Well worth it. If there had been one, I really only paid for one match. Quite frank with you, I paid for one match. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. I paid for one match, and I got the result I wanted. And even if it turned out where the roles were reversed, it still would have been a great show. But I think it took it over the top. Rich, what were your initial thoughts on the show before we go through it?
It felt like a show where they brought a couple of people from the past back, but they let you know they are loaded with talent everywhere. Everything was, the work was just super tight up and down the show. For people that are looking to get into Joshi and may have seen things like maybe even the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament, this is like a higher level working even than that. And this is from the beginning, when Natsupoi was taking on Azumi for the high speed championship, you can just see they're just world class. And I looked at the show like this is a big moment for them because, they've got someone like Saya Kamitani, for example, in the red belt match. I think she took a big step forward in her career, and this is going to be something she's going to be able to work back to. The Mayu and Yoshiko thing, one thing that really stuck with me was the video package before the match, and I feel like if you can use context clues at all, you can figure out what's happening, even if you don't speak the language. I think it's a really good show, great show actually, and it kind of it felt like on par with any type of big major show you'd see anywhere. There's they got this goofy battle royal in the beginning and all that, but that's kind of you're your Wrestle Kingdom Rambo
Yep.
and like wacky shit, and people seeing folks like what was her name? I got it right here. I'm trying to think of the.
Give me your
know
gimmick
the
and I
name.
can tell you.
She's older.
Kyoko Inoue, Chigusa Nagayo.
I saw Kyoko Inoue. I may be thinking of
Momo Nakanishi.
She was in All Japan Women's.
I mean, okay, so Mima Shimoda. I mean,
That was her.
okay.
And like, people getting their day in the sun essentially. So I really liked it. If when we have covered Stardom, it'll be like, okay, these are the couple main event matches you can check out, but no, go watch this whole show. And there's ways to do it, or you can just wait for it to get uploaded on Stardom World.
I mean, it'll be up on Stardom World like tomorrow.
Yeah, so I think
Saturday.
the review is coming right in time. But what did you think of the show?
I mean, this is the best show I've seen since at least Full Gear. I just, it was an incredible show. Like, it's one of the best shows I've seen in the last few years. Like, it's on par with, it's up there with the stuff you see from, if you compare like the average AEW pay-per-view, the average takeover from the last now 5 years, and aside from like, the all-time like, Dominion or Wrestle Kingdom stuff, like on one night, like it's on par with that. Like the last 3 matches were all great. And then you look up and down the card and like, you watch some of these Wrestle Kingdoms or some of these things, and like there's normally like a couple matches that just are like, okay, that's like a 3-star or below thing. Like aside from that Rumble, everything is 3 stars and up, and like outside of the tag match, like everything is like at least 3.5.
And I was gonna say, for that tag match, like I was like, wow, did Natsuko Tora decide to show up and like not fuck off? Like I was shocked, and then like I thought Saki was awesome in the match too. So just up and down the show, like, and I recommend watching the whole thing. Like it took me like 2 days to watch it, but yeah, I definitely highly recommend this because you saw some like you I feel like you're seeing a lot of like changes like that are like there's a lot of like breadcrumbs that are out there right now, I think.
Yeah. And one thing I will say is like this show is great just popping in and parachuting in if you are a person. This is very similar to when people talk about like what should I happen on Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Kingdom's come around or whatever else. Like what should I hop in on Japanese pro wrestling, whatever else. This is the show to hop in on if you've ever cared about anything like you heard me say about Stardom. Like this is the one. Like you can watch that, you can go from there. You don't need other context. There's video packages that can kind of fill you in or whatnot. Like, but otherwise, you're going to watch a great ass wrestling show for like 3.5 hours. Has 8 matches on it. It's just but if you are someone that is a Stardom fan or has followed our show talking about some of this stuff, like especially it's just an incredible show. Like it goes through the history of Stardom is all in there with all these comebacks and Nanae and Yoshiko in key matches and people that came back to be in the Rambo, and even with the Rossi connection it goes all the way to the All Japan Women's wrestlers and all this stuff. And you see like in that Rumble you see multiple former tag team partners of Nanae Takahashi. It's just funny. So the Rambo, if you want to compare it to a Royal Rumble, it sucked. It was way more. It was
funny because it was funny because when I was watching it, it was like I thought it started off like good. It was like, oh shit, like they're actually like kind of working in there, and then like the more people would come out, and then they didn't want to eliminate. Longer it keeps going, and it's like
they didn't want to.
What the fuck are they doing?
Right, they didn't want to eliminate anybody. And like they had their moments in it, like like with the legends, like Kyoko Inoue was in there with Lady C, and Lady C also had her moments with Emi Sakura. Emi Sakura shows up. She brings the entire Choco Pro gang or the Gotta Move gang, and they all like just for the entrance or whatever, and the visual, it was great. Chikusa Nagayo comes in there, quite possibly the most popular Japanese woman wrestler of all time. And who's in there to go face to face, eye to eye with her? Giant Saya.
Yes.
And they exchanged chops and forearms, and it was funny at the time. You have Horio Matsumoto trying to get in the ring, and Unagi's like, hell no, we're not letting you get in here, you'll throw us all out. And then all of a sudden, Miho Wakazawa comes out and with Mayu, and Hiroyo comes back up the ramp, and they're one of the first trios champions ever in Stardom history, and they're just having a blast and hilarious stuff. It was a bunch of just, and then
I was like, why the fuck does Mayu have a boombox? Like,
exactly, bro. I think I've seen them wrestle one time, and it was a comedy when Mayu was like struggling on the card to survive. Like that, the only title she was seeing around that time was trios titles with Hiroyo Matsumoto and another former All Japan Women's wrestler. So like you go through and you see like where Mayu had with that stuff. You see where Mayu has come, especially with the Yoshiko thing later on. You're just like, wow, this person stayed around. Like a lot of people thought Stardom was gonna fucking die. Like when Kairi left and Io was supposed to be out the door, but Io had another year because of her neck thing didn't get cleared, so she leaves the year later. They put over Momo. It's Momo and Mayu in Jungle for until that period of time to where they can develop and get a Utami ready to go. Sign Hana. It was to think of this company from like if you look at that perspective to see where they are now. You never would have imagined this would have happened. Never. And
yeah,
their trajectory is still going up from here. Like. The fact that they outdrew a New Japan Budokan show, it's like, who would have fucking thought about that? Like, would you have thought of that when we started covering Stardom?
No, like, mind you, these are weird circumstances.
That's true.
Obviously, but yeah, like, I think New Japan's like, they're doing a lot of shows right now.
Yes, they are. They're trying to recoup.
Yeah, so it's, like I said, it's a fun factoid. They're great.
I'm not saying that Stardom
great. I was gonna say they're great things to tweet. Like Giulia's a bigger draw than Kota Ibushi. Shit, if you want to get, if you want to drive some people out the wall and fuck around on Twitter, they gave you that.
Yeah, Tam Nakano greater than Kazuchika Okada.
Tam Nakano gonna honor the white belt.
Yeah,
New Japan getting rid of the white belt.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we start from the beginning and we'll go through some of our thoughts or whatever else. So first match on the card, high speed title match, the opener, the queen of openers, Azumi versus
Azumi
Natsupoi.
did not come to fuck. She did not come to fuck around with y'all with the gear.
Yeah, she basically, I don't know if this maybe this is my head canon, but she was very close to Hazuki. At the time, Hazuki was known for her white belt title defenses. Will she come out normally in the pink and black attack like Bret Hart? When it was time to defend the title, she would come out with white and pink, version alternate of the same exact fit. It was great. And Azumi came out for this show and basically the same exact gear except it's white where it was black and alternate version. It was incredible looking. Natsupoi new gear looks good. Getting the ring, start off with like a blur, like a whirling dervish, rope running, evasive maneuvers. Ultimately, Azumi, I can't even remember all the stuff because so much shit happened in that match, but it was a blur. It was a great match, technical wrestling.
There's a great gif going around of Natsupoi doing like this sunset flip suplex or something, like a cartwheel suplex.
It's an aerial cartwheel suplex, yeah.
Yeah, that shit is hard.
Yeah. Like I saw that, it got, a couple thousand likes. I was like, she does it like every other match. But I mean, like, obviously people don't see it. They're missing out. Yep. This was probably the best performance I've seen from Natsupoi in Stardom in a singles match. They to kind of keep her in tags or whatever else, be a pin eater for the biggers in
the real thugs,
Del Mondo. But she's a great wrestler. But you saw it here. I think there's a point where Azumi ends up getting her out to the floor, goes for a diving foot stomp on the floor from the second rope, and I'm just like, Azumi, take care of them knees. we need you for the next 5, 10, 15 years. Take care of them knees. Get her back in the ring. She basically has her way with her. She ends up running the ropes, ends up going for a running Hurricane Rana, pop-up Hurricane Rana. Natsupoi blocks it, shoves her away, hits her with a gut kick, sends Azumi to the rope. She hits the other ropes, comes back, and just fucking drives through her with a drop kick off. It sends both of them onto the apron through the ropes. There's a bunch of other stuff in it. More double foot stomps. Azumi ends up going. Every time Natsupoi ends up kicking out, Azumi just ready. The second she gets that shoulder up, she's snatching that arm and putting her in the Fujiwara armbar. It was just, incredible stuff. I think the end of the match is finishing with Natsupoi ends up hitting 3 rolling German suplexes. Azumi kicks out. She freaks out. She ends up getting up. She ends up putting Azumi in a straitjacket. German drops her on her head, bridges up, gets the pin. She is now the new high-speed champion.
I saw that and I was like, well, maybe is it time for a little elevation for Azumi? That's the first thing I started thinking. But for those that may have not ever seen Azumi, she's one of the most innovative wrestlers that is out right now. Super young, super fast in the ring, like always entertaining.
Yeah,
so,
she's 18.
Yeah, that too.
She's 18. Like, I don't think I've ever seen somebody. The first time I ever saw her was 16. She's basically been about this good since she was 16, and that's the crazy part. Like, they had her in training wheels for so long, and now that she's now that she's able to do, I think pretty much it was last year's 2019 Grand Prix when they were like, all right, we're taking the training wheels off you, and ever since then,
like, I am no longer a kid wrestler, as she was saying.
Right. That's exactly what it is. She just goes nuts. Like, I don't even know. Do you have a match time on that match?
I don't have the time because I don't have a cage match pulled up, but
okay.
I can probably find it.
I'm pulling up right now. It's
I would say it's like under 10.
Yes, 8 minutes. 8 minutes, and like Dave Meltzer gave it 4 stars. I gave it 3 3/4. The reason why I gave it 3 3/4 is because I don't think it's appreciably better than. I'd
probably say the same.
I don't think it's appreciably better than like her match with Yoniyama or her match with Meiho Suzuki in her last recent defenses. And I think that the
just is right up Dave's alley.
Right, and I think, of course, and also is not as good as the 4-star match from October 3rd against Starlight Kid. That is the one. But yeah. Anyway, move on from that. Get the Goddesses of Stardom tag belts defended. Himeka and Maika versus Natsuko Tora and Saki of Oedo Tai. It was a rough day for the Oedo Tai. They down bad.
Yeah, getting whooped left and right.
Yeah. Good match. I don't really remember much of it, but like they were moving. They were moving back and forth. This is like the highest pace I've ever seen. I've seen Natsuko. I keep doing it. Natsuko Tora like wrestled in probably since she joined Oedo Tai. Yeah, just really good match.
She came out there dressed like Tai Chi, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's still an upgrade from what she was wearing before. Like, one thing I will say is, like, everybody came to play, and almost everybody, not everybody, almost everybody, exactly everybody upgraded their gear. Like, if you didn't look like a star, most people came out with the gear that made them look like stars. If you had really trash gear, you had some decent gear. Like, everybody upgraded. So shouts out to them for realizing like it's a big show. We all need to look professional. We all need to, take pride in how we look when we do this. It came out in like a professional setting. Like we'll get to Syuri in a second. My God. Maika
and Himeka.
Maika comes out.
Give everyone some context. Like I love them.
Yep.
I'm already like Don DeMondo's already like my group anyway. Like kind of on the low. But
they're everybody's group. All of them are rough. All of them are tough. Like Syuri is, and most of them, except for like Giulia, all of them are really baby faces. Except Giulia just acts like a dick from time to time. Like you can't, like Syuri is on that Oscar program. Like she's the baddest motherfucker on the block, but you just want to root for her. She's so raw, and also she wrestles so much heart and fire. And then like Himeka's a babyface. Natsupoi getting heat, working on Neve like a babyface. Like, they're all babyfaces except for the leader.
Yep.
And they win all the time, too. What's not to like?
They're like, they're like Ben and Rasheed Wallace, like Maika and Himeka, like, the Wallaces, like.
It's a giant in a judoka together, and they just beat ass. And that's the best way I explain it. Like, one thing I did like with their gear is the symbolism. Maika came out. I think she's probably second or third best dressed the other night, but she when you include like the ensemble, the gear that you take off before or whatever else, all of it, like, she came out with some super expensive looking shit. Like, what kind of fabric is that? Where did you get those? Where do you buy that? Like that. That has
exclusive fabrics.
Yes, like they jumped them at the belt, and my first thought was, Maika, please don't rip Maika's shit. That shit looks so good. But anyway, because Saki choked her with it. But anyway, their gear, Maika's gear is gold. Himeka got new gear. It's silver, and that's because the tag team belts in Stardom, one is gold plated with silver accents, and the other one is silver plated with gold accents. So Maika has the gold belt, and Himeka has the silver belt. And I was like, that's a great touch. Like, and I hope you stay tag teams for a long time, because they're gonna have a lot of just clobber fest. They just are. But they end up getting the win.
I'd like to see them against like B. Priestley and Jamie Hayter one day.
I mean, their match when they won the titles, they faced. I agree. But when they won the titles, it was against B and Konami, and that match was great. Like, they got heat on Maika, and Maika just sold her ass off forever, and then Himeka came through and just like was just a I didn't know she had a hot tag. That's the best way I explain it. And then she had one, it was great. But yeah, like at the end, Maika, who got trained and just tap out before she came to Stardom, Taka Michinoku wins the match by dropping Saki on her head with a Michinoku driver. It was the first time she ever did it in Stardom. It was awesome. So then you get the Rumble. I
got all the names here, okay, if you want me to go through them. So
yeah, first person, I want to point out, first person was Starlight Kid, and I love that because she's the future of Stardom. She will be a white belt champion eventually. She will be, like the top star in Stardom in the future. So like for her to come out, like I remember how you said it was like so important that like Sasha was the first woman out in the Women's Rumble. Yeah, I feel the same way for them because like she's the fucking mascot, Starlight Kid, Stardom with a Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, put her out there first.
Yeah. So basically, your winner was Unagi. So Unagi getting revenge for everybody whooping on her normally. She defeated B. Priestley, Chigusa Nagayo, Emi Sakura, Hiromi Mamora, Hiroyo Matsumoto, Kaori Yonayama, which is Death Yama-san, Kikutaro.
Kikutaro is the pervert.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering about that.
Everybody hated that. I hated it too.
That's your old Santino Marella type shit. Yeah. Then Kyoko No, Lady C, Meiho Shizuki, Miho Wakizawa, Mima Shimoda, Mina Shirakawa, Momo Nakanishi, Rin Katakura, Ruaka, Giant Saya, Starlight Kid, Yoko Bito, Yuna Manase, Yuri Haruka, and Yuzuki Ayakawa.
Yeah. So the thing for me was I kept popping because they did all these reunions where, like, for example, like when Mima Shimoda came out, the first person she came out to see was Momo Nakanishi because it's like that's AJW old country beef. Where it's like I'm gonna whoop your ass like I whooped your ass 15 or 25 years ago. Almost 25 years ago. And then, you have, because Emi Sakura has trained so many people, like there were all these allegiances. When Yuzuki Akawa came out, you had the old BY Ho faction with her and Yoko Bito. And like, it was fun. It was fun.
Bro, when she stood up next to Lady C and was like posing too, like she was like, yes. Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Yes.
Yes. I only wish Aja Khan could have been in it, but her and Rossi don't quite.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like almost everybody was there that could.
But her,
like Mako couldn't be there, obviously. Asuka couldn't be there. Io, Kairi. Kairi was there, but she couldn't be on camera, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast. It was like, if this is you turn your brain off. It's terrible wrestling as far as bell-to-bell action for the most part. But
it's absolutely absurd.
Oh yeah, but just as far as, and they're missing shit. They're missing eliminations left and right. People can't keep up with who got eliminated because missed off camera. And honestly, like,
they're also bringing people out at 1,000,000 miles an hour too.
Well, the reason why is because, you know, like, that's why you have to give credit to WWE when they do these eliminations, or when they do the rumbles. You know, they go 90, depending on the year, is 90 seconds or 1 minute, but that music is edited to where you know exactly what it is. Someone comes right out. With them, they're having a lot of these Japanese wrestling themes have these huge build-ups, and then someone comes out. So, like, for example, Yoko Bito came out. By the time she finally came out, their music hits. It's like 55 seconds, and I you know, like, all of a sudden, like, you all see, you hear the 10, like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 right after her music cuts off. Yeah, so it was like, this is what screwed it up. It wasn't like, hey, belt rings, go straight to the part where people know and then go out. It was a whole bunch of let the beat build and shit. Like, it was
let the beat build, bitch.
Like it was Kanye and Wayne. So that's what messed it up. So that's why I felt like it kept going over and over. And I figured this out because when I rewatched the show just earlier, I actually had the timer up. I was like, it actually is 1 minute every single time. It's just everything keeps getting fucked up because these beats keep coming in weird times. But yeah. The final three end up being Izuki Okawa versus Team Tam, Unagi and Mina. And I gotta say, like, Yuzupon, she hasn't wrestled since 2013. Obviously she's been, you know, training with Nanae and Yoshiko and Natsuki Tayo. It's in the Sealand Dojo or whatever else. Like, it looks like her strikes is the same. She's just violent. Mm-hmm. They sound off. She'll just kick the shit out of you. But yeah, like, they teamed up on her, both of them. She thwarted Mina, threw her out, and then it ended up being Unagi and her. And at the end, Unagi ends up getting her, after having a short little battle on the apron, Unagi ends up eliminating her. She wins after going through that 7-trial series, getting her ass whooped by all the modern people in Stardom. So she celebrates. She ends up convincing Izuki Okawa to come back into the ring, and those, you know, her and Mina and Izuki all celebrate, and I was like, she should come back. She should come back and be in Cosmic Angels and make this money. Because it's all, you know, that whole stable is just, like, very pretty and older on the spectrum for Stardom. Like, that was
so those are your old idols, you know. I mean, look, idols that one can actually look at, you know.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
let's move on. Oh my god, I never really thought about it, but you got a point. But yeah.
Rossi know he like Vince. He, you know, he gotta hit all demos, you know.
Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, I think Akawa was like 30, 38, 37, something like that. Anyway,
yeah, all demos.
Dumb.
All types.
Oh my god. So next match is Momo versus Nanae.
Let's fucking go.
Yes, the video package just explains it. Like, Nanae's last match at Stardom was against rookie Momo in 2015. And I believe the translation is something like, I don't want to wrestle your way, or whatever else. And then come forward, her and Yoshiko storm the year-end climax. Momo won some of Nanae. They have the tag match at Seedland. They beat the shit her and Arisa beat the shit out of Giant Saya. And we get this match here. And the bell rings and it's on. It is on. Man.
So when I was watching this, I think I accidentally skipped this, like, from swapping. You know, I watched a Rumble one day, and I was like, all right, I'll come back to it. And then, you know, just where I was in a timeline, I started with Syuri versus Konami. So I watched this after the main event, and I was not let down at all. Like, you ever like watch like a boxing match and then like you see like the main event, right? But then there's like another fight on that's after somehow on the pay-per-view, and then it's like, oh yeah, they out there hitting too. Like, that's what it felt like for me. This was like it was like a Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus match. Like beating the fuck out someone small that strikes versus this big brolic motherfucker. Like it was like, yo, just hitting. Like I love watching Nanae Takahashi. I've only seen her a handful of times, you know, that you've like sent me matches of hers, the hair versus hair match, the tag match, this one. I like it's on that
like her. Yeah, bro.
It's like on that Audrey Khan scale. Like I ain't really here for all the pretty stuff. Like I want to see them run it. Like and you know the knives right up my alley. Yeah, man. Like the thing that drew me to her in last, the thing that's crazy about it is like she had this good of a match and like she's still not like 100% from her foot or ankle surgery from last year. Like, but 2019, that was the best female wrestler I saw in all of 2019. Like, not Mayu, not anybody. It was her. Like, she kept having all these great matches, like with Arisa Nakajima, with Vinny / Asuka. Like, it was it. Like, she was having, or Takumi Iroha as well. Like, first match I ever saw Takumi Iroha was against Nanae. Like, it was, she was having just wars. And, like, this is her style of pacing. Like, just physical, coming forward, you know, just just all this energy and passion, and that obviously that's her catchphrase, passion. But yeah, like, that shit's written on the gear too. Yes, but yeah, like it's just great, and like, you know, I think the first half of the match, like she just like no-sold so much of Momo's stuff, and then like Momo had to fight from underneath, and when she finally like got on top, and Momo was able to just drop these forearms on the back of Nanae's head, just like, you've been beating my ass for 4 minutes, I've had enough, like you finna feel my pain. Like it was great, and you know, like I love the spot where, you know, Momo got the B driver, or I guess what does Chuck Taylor call it? The awful waffle. The awful waffle, yeah. The beat, that's what they were in Japan, I guess, called a B driver. Like, Nanae, or Momo does it because of Nanae. Momo hits it on Nanae. Nanae just literally rolls it up like it's a sunset flip, like it's a Matchbox cover. Gets up and it hits her with one, and then Momo kicks it one. Like, it was like, damn, this, like, for a 10-minute match, is like, that wasn't like some intricate thing. It was just like, you fight me, I fight back, I fight harder, you sell, then you come back. It was like, what more can you ask for? Like, obviously, you know, you could do the slap battle thing like Suzuki and Yuji Nagata, but like for a match that had like that had elements of real wrestling in it, like this felt like a war, like a pocket-sized war. Yep. Yeah. Tomohiro, you should be proud of this match. Like, I mean, you heard me for a couple years. Like, I would love to see her in Nanae and Ishii get it on her shield. Like, that shit would be a fucking blast. But anyway, because it was so short, I ended up giving it 3 3/4. But I love the match. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 4. I have no look on rewatch. It's even better. So like, but I'm just going my initial grade. But yeah. So next match after that, Syuri versus Konami for the SWA Undisputed title. Rich, do you feel comfortable with describing what you call Syuri to the crowd, or you think we need to keep that on the talk? I don't remember this. It's about Syuri because it's the SWA title. It's about, you know, somebody has to be a certain nationality. She's half Filipino, yeah. So she's wrestling a bunch of Japanese wrestlers and relying on the fact that she's half Japanese, half Philippine. Yeah, she's the can woman. You know. We can stop anybody there. Can get it. Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right, yeah. So I mean, that's Americans, Mexicans, Jamaicans, Jamaicans. Oh my God. Anybody? Yeah. So I wonder, is there wrestling in Jamaica? I've never thought to consider that for a second. Yo, we gonna have to ask Ike. Like, yeah, who's the like, I mean, obviously there's wrestling in the Caribbean because of Puerto Rico, but like, what about the rest? Like, I wonder who is the champion in Barbados? Yes, you know, who's the Trinidadian champion? Anyway, Dominican Republic. Who got a belt there? I know black. I Dominican. Oh my God! No Bobby, no black, no black. Get the fuck out of here. So. We derailed, but anyway,
this match is billed after Syuri beats Azumi in the February 30th Korakuen Hall, and she requests that her next opponent be Konami. And then they go to the press conference, and Konami reads this letter. And I read the translation because I was so hyped for this show that I actually watched the press conference and pulled up the transcription of it and like had it translated thanks to Google Translate, which means it's roughly translated, but I got the gist of it. Basically, and I don't know if you know this, but Syuri's ties to wrestling early in her career are tied to Asuka, right? Like when she was in a promotion called Smash, like she was chasing after Asuka and had a rivalry, and actually there's a video package that's fucking awesome.
There's also a video going around on the internet right now of Asuka, Hikaru Shida, and Syuri dancing.
Right. Yeah, I saw that too. So, and it's young because you see how like Syuri has her like fighter physique on, because she's a shoot. She was actually in UFC. Anyway. Konami says, like, you are very important to my career. I don't know if I'm a wrestler without you stepping up for me and helping me and getting me bookings and helping me train and all this stuff, because the person that trained me, Asuka, abandoned me. She didn't say Asuka's name, but we know who trained her. We know who, put her in these spot shows or whatever else when she was a rookie. And I don't know if you ever seen Konami's gear when she was a kid, you'd laugh. You'd absolutely laugh. Like, she's dressed like on some Sailor Moon like shit. Anyway, schoolgirl shit. But anyway, she says, like, you took care of me, you gave me guidance, this and the third. And Syuri is like, and it's a shoot. Like, Syuri just breaking down, fucking crying, just at the press conference or whatever else. And then she said, I'm going to take everything you taught me and all the lessons over these years, and I'm going to use it to beat you for your belt. And that was the storyline. So they get into the ring, and because it's Syuri and it's Konami, you already know what it is. We are finna see who is the resident badass shoot champion here. They spend the start of this match like fighting for arm bars, and then they keep jockeying position to see who can put who in what move. Ultimately, you end up getting Konami working Syuri's arm with some kicks. You end up getting Syuri ends up getting a ankle lock on Konami, so they're both injured with different body parts, and they're working through and countering out of each other's move, fighting for holds, and then the kicks and the suplexes just start going off. And also early in the match, Syuri ends up outside the ring. All the Oedo Tai is around the ring, so Natsuko has the pipe, and she wants to cheat. Konami says, get away from her. Like, you can do all that cheating shit, but not against her. Like, which is like the ultimate sign of respect and, all that. So, ultimately, at the end of the match, Syuri, like all these big shows, when she wins, she pulls out some fucking wild submission that I've never seen before in my life. This time, she basically, like, wraps both her arms up, Konami's arms up with her legs, and it also has like a stretch muffler applied too. And then she stares dead into the camera as if she knows which camera is actually on her. It's like, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world. Come, who won't test me? It's like, she's so fucking good.
Anybody can get it. Yeah, bro, she's fucking awesome. Like, came out with the super new gear. I gotta say, I do normally like her regular color scheme a little bit more. But I did like the gear a lot. I didn't realize Konami was out there barefoot, but with the kick pads on. Yeah.
She every so often she'll decide to not have shoes. Like when I first started watching Stardom, she didn't have shoes, and then like she started wearing shoes consistently, and then like on special occasions she just won't have shoes. I think this is because of the touch of we're the two shoot girls, so no shoes. Syuri was like, nah, I'm wearing shoes.
I'm gonna whoop you. Lots of, like I said at the beginning of the show, just tight, technical, crisp work, like all on the show. Like, and this is probably the best example of it. Looking at the rest of the card, like, it's just precision right here. Syuri's like she goes through people like a hot knife through butter. Like, it's just,
she's the person that's like, you can't wait till she gets a title challenge against somebody because you know it's on. She always gets the best out of everybody as far as effort and intensity and heart. She's just the best. Like, she's the best. Like she has all this range. She is. You've never seen her in Seedling. When she was in Seedling, like she's in the mid card, like wrestling like real Mizunami at times, and like trios matches, and like just being a clown. Like she's hilarious. Like she is very much like Asuka, where you think of the range of this person as can do comedy, can be a fucking killer, can be a baby face, can be a heel, do all that stuff. Like when she beat the shit out of Unagi last week or whatever else, she was like, I see potential in you, but you are far, 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 far away. Like she said it just like that, and she beat the shit out of her too. Just like,
I would love to see Syuri and Hikaru Shida run it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're best friends, or
they're best friends, exactly. Right. Like,
yes. So, but anyway, like I ended up giving this because this went even shorter than the Nanae match. This went like 8 minutes. I gave it 3.5. But you know, that is not a comment on the quality of the wrestling. Had they gone 4 minutes, that's easily 4 stars. But yeah, I'll
probably say the same.
Yeah, just gotta, and like, oh yeah, also Syuri pointed out or said that like her color scheme was inspired by Wonder Woman, because you know the red, the blue, the silver, and the gold, whatever else. And then like, you know, I don't know what the fuck that was she was wearing, but she like a damn bird, and she looked awesome. That was WrestleMania level gear. Yeah, so next match after that is a special
Mayu Iwatani.
Yeah, the second
Yoshiko.
The second special edition 10-year anniversary match. They named them the Seedling versus Stardom matches, 10-year anniversary matches. So, play the video package. It shows, you know, both of them, Mayu and Yoshiko, both from the first dojo class and first year of Stardom. Shows Mayu getting her ass kicked, shows Yoshiko being the first person from the class to win the red belt. Then it shows like immediately, like it almost like goes to black, and it shows Kairi holding up the belt, which is like, yeah, that's when she ended up shooting on that woman and got, you know, kicked out of Stardom. And you know, Kairi ended up being the first red belt champion after that. But then it showed like, you know, Mayu building over the years from like that point to 2017 when she ends up winning the red belt for the first time. And then it showed, you know, them going face to face. The exchange was, you know, you say that you're the icon of Joshi Pro Wrestling. When I was here, you were a fucking geek. It's very similar to like the Brock Lesnar and John Cena. It's very similar in parallels. It's like one person was on top, another person was, you know, in risk of being fired or whatever else. They persevered and became the top star. This other person left, and now they're back to try to, you know, see what's up. And it's just a great story from that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this is like the part where I felt like would easily translate to people, because you saw in that video package Mayu's like wrestling wearing like Daisy Dukes and shit. Like she has nothing figured out. Yoshiko, you can see her clearly like a step ahead, and then she's like banished to like the shadow realm, like wrestling in like these fucking dark gyms and outlaw promotions and whatever, while Mayu, they flash back and Mayu's in these bright buildings, you know, everything looks pretty, and then, you know, Yoshiko comes back and it's like, oh no, like wow, really cool for you to return, but like there's some tension to be had here.
Yes. So Rich, is your first time ever seeing Yoshiko?
Yes, this is the first time I ever saw Yoshiko, and I loved it.
Okay, so I was telling you this off air, but like and I said this, I think when after the year, during the year-end show for Stardom, was as far as them coming back, it's like you could tell just by looking at her how much weight she's lost. A lot of weight. Like obviously she's kind of a pseudo celebrity now, because, you know, during the pandemic she was doing these TikTok videos of her baking like these cute little desserts or whatever, and baking stuff in the shape of animals, and you know the juxtaposition of she's so like, you know, Martha Stewartly, while she's also like is smiley, and then she'll frown and she's like, oh my god, this is a bad motherfucker, you want no parts. Like it was funny. So she got, you know, she's got herself some notoriety. That's why she ended up being this year, you know, or during the pandemic, like she became the Seedling top champion. She was also top champ and tag team champion at the time. Because of, like, you know, her success, she was actually helping Seedling draw. Like, I don't know if this ever happens if not for the TikTok stuff. Just, you know, shake of how this thing shakes out. But
also, she on another place, she looked like she was banished to, like in The Lion King. Like she was banished to like the Badlands. Like
Yeah, and so I was saying to you, like, she, like, you see the aura and the badasses, and you saw the middle fingers, and you see all the character and, the veteran charisma stuff, but it's like, it was even crazier, like, back in June when she was still her, the size she has always kind of been, but, like, she's lost weight, and, like, you almost see it in, like, her gear, like, it's almost like she decided to wear, like, the gear that she had, but, like, she didn't want to wear something smaller because it might give away the mystique, so, anyway, they just, Yoshiko gets a hold of her, and it's almost like, was it Terry Crews and Cat Williams Friday After Next? It's like, you ever seen a pit bull and a chihuahua? She just beats the shit out of Mayu. She keeps working over her back and her core, abdominal stretches. Mayu mounts a comeback at one point. Yoshiko cuts it right off with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. It looked like the cover of Batman when Bane breaks Batman's back over his knee. And then it's very kind of similar in fashion to, like, the first Takumi Iroha match that Mayu had, where it's like, this person is dominating Mayu. Mayu can only hit, like, hold spots and, quick escape stuff from, just veteran babyface Guile. And then it broke down into a brawl, and my God, like, Mayu, obviously she's a wrestling genius, but, like, on second watch while watching this, like, she's fighting from her knees to her feet against Yoshiko, and she's throwing forearms to the chest. Like, it happens like 4 times. She gets to her feet, gets hit with one to the face. She goes to a knee, goes down, gets back up, goes to the chest. And then on the last one, after like the 5th time it happens, Mayu basically just gets up, and then Murder Mayu Smile, from that second Takumi match comes out. And she just fucking rips back and just whaps her with, like, the Arisa Nakajima.
Bro, I was like,
forearms. Yoshiko staggered.
She looked like she was, like, drunken. Like, she was like she went to another reality and caught back that forearm, hit her, and then Yoshiko ate that shit.
She hit the ropes, but she smiled. And it was like, oh my God. So like.
And then answer her with like a Kenzo Kobashi like clothesline, like just folded Mayu like an accordion.
Yes, yeah, she landed right on her head and neck in the typical Mayu spot. If there's anybody but her or Bushi, you think they broke their neck. And then she gets up, and then she picks her up, and then she hits her with a short arm clothesline. Has the same exact effect. Gets a pinfall. I don't remember what happened after that, but basically, like, Mayu ends up getting they were fighting for. Mayu ends up getting her back. Hits her with the dragon suplex for 2, doesn't work. Mayu ends up going to top rope, hitting the moonsault in the win. But, like, this match was awesome. Like, it was 15 minutes of just fabulous, like, veteran wrestlers that just know what they're doing and can play to the crowd and, have some ideas but not have to actually call, like, a match, like, choreographed. It was just an excellent match. I ended up going 4.5 on it. I love this match.
You know what? I'm right there with you on the 4.5, because it was just like towards the end of the match, there was like a cool like hanging dragon suplex that I liked a lot. I was fired up, yelling at the screen like during that big forearm sequence, and like Mayu, like as long as I've seen her, she's just like always been the ace and all that. Like she's not been someone that I've like viscerally rooted for, but in this match, I was like full like, hey Mayu, you gotta win, like you can't fucking lose, like and then you see all them on the outside of the ring with the jackets on and shit, like I was like, nah man, you gotta defend the turf, like knowing like and you gotta like you see Momo lose, like you gotta represent.
I didn't think about this, but I remember in 2012, like this is the reason why I got into Seedling and Nanae. When going through like the title history or whatever else, and like, all right, where is she? Blah 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 blah, and hearing all these stories about like the Stardom history, and I ended up finding Shishiko and Nanae and Seedling. I went back to there's a match from 2012 between Meiko Satomura and Nanae, and it's just like that with like the seconds and the juniors like around the ring, and so you see like Kairi and Mayu like in the Stardom stuff, like rooting for Nanae, and then Meiko's there, and then you see like and then you see like her, the Sendai girls on the side, and they're like literally like, come on, like you gotta win for us, and like now I think about it, when you see like the rookies and Arisa Nakajima and Natsuki Tayo and the Seedling gear, and then you see like Starlight Kid and and Giant Saya there, and they're just like Runo Mayu's like, I never thought about that, but like, yeah, that is like, they are now like the top, the seniors of their divisions, and it's crazy because like, this is only, they're both 28 years old. Mm-hmm. They're both 28. Actually, I think Yoshiko might be 27. Like, it's just crazy. Like, and that's
they did a funny thing. Yeah, they did a funny thing throughout the show. They would do like they would tell you how old some people are, but they wouldn't tell you how old other people are. Right. It was funny.
Like, you don't know what year anybody was born in Cosmic Angels. You do not.
Yeah,
you don't know what. Like,
that was exactly what I saw. I was like, "Oh, Giulia, 1994. Okay, cool. What about Tam? Oh, just the birth date."
Look, she was born in '88. I know how old she is, but like, they ain't ain't finna. It's out there, but it ain't for you to be volunteered.
It ain't for you to be found. Yeah. Like, that's part of the thing with Cosmic Angels. Like, they, you know like, what it's about.
I think. Because Maika's like 26 as well, just like Unagi. So I don't know if Maika actually has her birthday up there, like her birth year up there. I have to check, but like Cosmic Angels, nah, you don't need to know that. They look good. That's good enough.
Yep.
So yeah, I love the match, and at the end, I saw some of the translations for it, and it's basically like, Mayu's like, I'm happy to have, done this with you or whatever else, and then Yoshiko's like, like, you're my only tie left to Stardom. Like, you're only one left or whatever else, and I'd like to come back sometime or whatever else. And like, it basically gives you makes you believe that like Yoshiko's gonna come back at some point, either wrestle Mayu again another match or tag with her. And either one, I'd love to see.
Look, I don't speak Japanese, and that's cool that you got the translation out of that. But when I was watching what was happening, it was like, I love you, like the way they was, embracing that after the end of the match.
It was, yeah, like and
I'll leave it at that.
You idiot, you're an idiot, you dumb. So anyway, yeah, Mayu tackles her to the ground and just grabs her and scruffs up her hair and stuff, and you see all the affection they have for each other. And then from there you get to the announcements. They end up announcing that they're going to do the Yokohama Budokan 2 times in the next 4 months. There's going to be one in April. There's going to be one in, I believe, July. And then in between that, I believe, they're also going to do Oda War Gym. Last year, before the pandemic hit, that was going to be where Giulia was going to face Arisa Hoshiki. But then the world changed. But so yeah, like we said, like Bushiroad between Stardom and New Japan, doing another dome show, a third dome show in 1 year. They out here trying to recoup.
Yeah.
We're finna take back from this pandemic.
They probably getting them buildings like at super half cheap. Cost, super cheap. So it's just like they're just trying to pack people in.
Yeah. But yeah, so then you end up getting the red belt match. Utami versus Big Saya. This is a great match, but for me, it just felt, given all the matches with, either super technical precision or super fast stuff or just brutality, I was left like, okay, so I saw, Utami is great at wrestling already. We know this, but she's more of a jack of all trades than a specialist at anything. Like, she's about as good, or I feel like she's about as good as like adjusting to what people do than like her actually having her thing that she does. So she was in here with Saya, and it's just a lot of flippity doodah. It didn't feel like a fight, and I'm not saying every match just felt like a fight, but it just felt almost like a slightly faster pace, like WWE big match on a pay-per-view, like where somebody does some flying, another person's a powerhouse, and you put it together. But it wasn't like some blowaway thing, like a Roman Reigns AJ Styles match. It wasn't.
Right. I think for Saya to get this match, we obviously know it shouldn't have been her. Like, so I felt like this was kind of like a free, like, this was house money. To put her in this position. It was like, what do you get out of this? Well, you're gonna get a loss, but you're gonna get to step up to that level. You're gonna get some experience, and eventually you'll be able to use this if they're a smart, booker, which they've shown themselves to be able to come back to this. Yeah. I've noted that last year they had a match, so she's always been chasing Utami. Yeah, and eventually she will get to Utami, and I don't know. I kind of like Saya.
Yeah, I like her too. Like, I think I like her potential more than where she's at right now. And quite frankly,
she's clearly not there.
Yeah, like it's even though saying it, like, it's not like she fucked up a bunch of stuff. Like, this was like the most consistent she's probably since at least the end of the Grand Prix. This is probably the most consistent she's been. But I think the thing for me was, like, if you are a person that, like, the spot for everybody is Utami sets up for the Black Tiger Bomb, and she goes to drop her, and Saya turns into a West Coast Pop, right? And with a deep, Rana cradle that kicks out at like 2.999. Actually, Utami kicked it.
I think they bought it.
And actually, the ref pulled the count at 3, and then Utami kicked it 3.1. But whatever. The thing for me was, like, I was sitting on that knowing that was going to happen at the time. Like, you watch enough Stardom, you know when reversals are coming. And for me, I was like, that's a reversal. And then it happened. So people that, like, if you see people rate this higher than I do, it's because a lot of people just... I was sitting on it. I was like, this match is going to end just like that. She's going to get something. She's going to get the point of this match is for her to get a near fall, and you think it. And I'm waiting on this, and it happened. And then Utami immediately got up and clotheslined the shit out of her. She did the flip, side did the flip, and then she got her up and she fucking destroyed her with the Black Tiger Bomb. Like, do you think what was the worst one? The one that Mayu took the first time we ever saw it, or the one that Saya took?
Oh man, maybe this one. I think
she just kept spinning on the ground.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, she was in the air, and then like she was going around like a dreidel top.
Yeah. I sound more down to the match than I actually am. It's a 4-star match. I see other people giving it like 4.25. And if you bought that kick out, I can see why you gave it 4.25. But for me, I thought it was a very.
I give it 4.
I give it a very good. I still think it's a great match and all that, but it was a match where he's like, the challenger's not gonna win. You just know it's not gonna win, and for a lot of people, that I think that near fall did a lot for her though. Like, I thought that before going into the year, before they had to scramble to get her to this spot, I thought I had a favorite to win the Cinderella tournament. Maybe she still does.
And I say it like based on like, we know what it was supposed to be. Like, this was obviously supposed to be Kairi, right?
It could. I think that Kairi's going to be on the card, and if she's going to be in the match, I think what they would have ended up doing was have Yoshiko face Utami, and then you do like Kairi versus Mayu as a 10th anniversary thing instead. Like, gotcha. I don't think they just put because you say ceiling top champion versus Stardom top champion for the ceiling top champion's former red belt or whatever else. I feel like that's what it been. I don't think they would have just threw Kairi into there and be like, well, you're Kairi. I don't think they would have done that.
Gotcha. I was reading a couple of places that were
it could have been
theorizing that, but
it could have been.
Like I said, I think it was a house money match. Like, the rest of the card is so strong to where you could do this type of experiment with her. Like,
and it's a success. It's a 4-star match.
Yeah,
it's the best singles match for career. The only other match that would be this good would be like her match with Tam at the end of the Grand Prix last year.
Yeah.
So,
let's get to it.
Yeah,
it's your time. It's your time. This man has been waiting for Tam to come. If Tam would have lost this match, I'd have came on this podcast, dying, howling, laughing.
Yeah, I know.
But I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, asshole. So, yeah.
Hair versus hair match for the Wonder of Stardom Championship.
Yeah. I'm going to preface this I'm going to talk about this beforehand, and then we'll get to it. I'll talk about how I feel about the win and all that after, but I just want to say a couple things. I always felt that Tam was going to win this belt, or in this feud with Giulia. It was always coming back. Like, after the match in October, when Giulia goes up 2-1 on Mayu in the career series, she says, let's do this again. So it was like, okay.
You mean Tam?
I'm sorry. No. Giulia won, and Giulia said to Tam, let's do this again.
Gotcha. You just said Mayu.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, so, and that's a 4.5-star match back in October. So, they got back to this using that 7-match series with Unagi. Like, the first match was against Giulia. It was almost like an outpost match where, like, they had a tag match where it's Cosmic Angels versus, it was Giulia and I think it was Maika. And Giulia just no-sells, beats shit out of Unagi. And then they have the first match of it, and Giulia beats the shit out of Unagi again, and then that's how they get to it, is like, you know.
You done beat up my young girl.
I beat up your young girl. You say you want another match. You say you want another match months ago. How about now? And then the next show, and then she says, well, I'll come up with the stipulation. I'll let you know if you want this match. She comes back next day or 2 days later and says, I want your hair. Hair versus hair for the belt. And then Tam says,
I love hair versus hair.
Yeah, I do too. And then Tam says, whatever. I told you that I'll chase you through hell, and that's what I do. I already made a decision. We'll do it. And they got to this point. So match starts out. Tam ends up getting a side headlock. Giulia escapes, slaps the shit out of Tam. Tam blows her stack. And then from that point forward, the rest of this match most of this match is Giulia has Tam's number, and Giulia gets cocky at times, and is basically going to piss off Tam over and over and over. She keeps making mistakes so she can counter wrestle her. Tam blows her stack, goes to strike, ducks under, slap again. It basically end up outside the ring. Giulia ends up setting up the table in front of Akira Hokuto and does a pile driver through the table in front of Akira Hokuto, known for pile driving motherfuckers through tables. Then they end up back in the ring. Tam's fighting back, and there was all this stuff that before we even got to that point, but I'm not even gonna go through it. But basically, like, Tam out wrestled, Tam out brawled her. The only thing that Giulia had was pissing Tam off and then countering once she blew her stack and made a mistake. So then we end up getting to the point where there's slap battles. There's an intermittent slap battle.
That slap battle.
The one at the end is just incredible. The one at the end is like it locks you in and doesn't let go until the match is over after that. When that one,
strangely, it felt like Tanahashi walking through the slaps in the same building in 2018.
I never thought of that for that, but yeah, could be. I have to watch that again. But God, there's so much. This match was incredible. But basically, Giulia gets Tam back in the ring after the. Actually, no. She beats the count. Tam beats the count. Giulia goes back to work. Tam ends up escaping. There's a point where they end up on the top rope. Giulia ends up getting her down. I can't remember how they got her down. Like, it was so much stuff in this match. I can't even go through it. Like, but it was just excellent wrestling, and all of this stuff was just like counters on counters of counters. Like, Tam at one point ends up going for a V trigger. Giulia trap blocks it, and it goes behind Tam. Ends up hitting her after outside when she threw her into the railing 2 times across her back. Goes for and hits her with a back suplex. Tam is selling like bloody murder. There's just so much stuff. I can't remember all the stuff. Keeping it together. But like, I just love this match. Ultimately, I know what happens. Tam ends up getting the better of Giulia. Giulia ends up hitting her with her finish, the Tiger Suplex. Giulia kicks. Tam then tries to go for this move called here's a special suplex called the Twilight Dream. Rich, she has not, she's used this move one time before ever. She did it against Kagetsu in the 2020 anniversary show.
Are you talking about that Steiner screwdriver looking thing?
No. Like, she basically is like a trap one arm here, one arm back, interlock it between, and then bridge and suplexes you.
Okay,
that's what she won with. Yeah. But after she hits the Tiger Suplex, she goes for the Twilight Dream. Giulia realizes, like, and this is the thing that's been going on with this feud, like, it was always, she's never hit this fucking move on Giulia. So it's like, once she hits it, it's a wrap. So Giulia, avoided it in the October match. She gets to this point, she gets desperate, she hits the ropes, she avoids it this time. She can't get Giulia off the ropes. Giulia catches her again. And then she goes to strike her, but Tam ducks and then actually hits Giulia's move, the Glorious Driver on Giulia. Giulia kicks. Tam ends up grabbing her by the arm and wrist control and just hits these Ibushi or whoever kicks as wrist control.
Like Daniel Bryan.
Kicks against her neck and head over and over and over. And then Giulia, because she's desperate and she keeps getting Tam to blow her stack, slammed across the face. Tam is like, all right, I'm about to just fucking buzzsaw kick your face off from wrist control. Giulia ducks underneath. She gets her Glorious Driver and hits Tam. Tam kicks. So then it happens. They both fight to their feet with slaps. And it's back and it's forth. And these inside this arena are just sounding off. Slap, 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 slap. Tam
Giulia holding her arms behind her back and basically being like, give it to me. Like,
yeah, like there's one where Giulia hits her with a huge one. They actually, like, I think caught Tam in the eye, so Tam backs up, gets back. She hits a fury of a bunch of multiple slaps to the face. Giulia puts her hands behind her back, she sticks her face out. Then she ducks her head because, like, she can't take the punishment. And then she goes to a knee. She spits into the mat. She gets up. She starts throwing her slaps over and over and over. Tam's eating it. Tam doesn't duck. She's just sitting there taking it. And then they get space from both killing each other. And then they both double move, double slap against each other. Both go to opposite corners. Then they get up, fire up, charge at each other. And then Tam unleashes that spinning back kick, takes her out, hits her with another spinning back kick. Then she ends up, then Giulia comes for an attack. Tam ducks, snatches it, comes behind her, lifts her up, high in the air in suplex position, and then drops her with a fucking Steiner screwdriver that made me jump out my seat and howl at like 4:30 a.m. Because I was shot. I thought she was fucking dead.
Who knew? Tam Nakano, Brian Cage. Dude, similar movesets.
Dude, like, it's funny because people were like, "That's not a Steiner screwdriver."
It's damn near close enough.
That is a Michinoku driver. I was like, I just saw a Michinoku driver on the show. That ain't no Michinoku driver.
A Michinoku driver is out of a body slam. Right. This is like out of a suplex, right, which is like drop you straight down.
And then the next day, Tam shows a picture of the move. Violet screwdriver. Anyway, the whole crowd gasped. Akira Hokuto and Milano Collection AT are on commentary. They fucking shout and scream for 1, 2, kick out at 2.7. Tam gets up. Fuck this. I'm winning this belt. Slaps on the Twilight Dream, suplex her, dumps her on her head, bridges up. 1, 2, 3. Tam is the white belt champion. I love this fucking match. I've watched this match 3.5 times already. It gets better every fucking time I watch this match. I noticed more things that happen in this match and callbacks to previous matches. I'm not giving this 5. I'm giving it 4 3/4. This is about as good a match you can get that's under 20 minutes. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, man. It without going move by move, I can just say it just felt like the end of this emotional rivalry. We saw all throughout last year, especially that first match, which I really loved when she damn near beat Tam to sleep. Like,
well, she slapped her submission or choke submission on her, and then Tam just like, I'm not tapping out or submitting to give up this white belt. I'd rather fucking die. And then she passed out, and the ref had to stop it.
And then like you keep going all the way to what we got now. Hair is on the line. And it's not just hair. That's like someone's pride you're fighting for, essentially. So that's how I always look at hair versus hair matches. Yeah. And it was just like, damn. You really, I think, get respect for both of them after this match because, like, you know,
these
when
are
Giulia
people that people say aren't good wrestlers. What the fuck are you watching?
Bro, I ain't seen a Giulia match I ain't like yet, but I think both of them really stepped up. Them being in that legendary venue, you know, they I think made like I feel like Giulia's the clear future here, and Tam finally has come through as someone that has been there for a long time and has a lot of fans like James that have just watched her struggle with Arisa Hoshiki, struggle through Momo. You know, the Momo stuff, struggle to find her leadership role after being in Stars and being number 2, and she finally breaks through and becomes number 1. And that's, I think y'all definitely are going to want to watch this match for sure. I think. And I think Giulia's already flipping it, like with, you know, the look now, like she's wearing the hats, and I think she's going to embrace it, and she's going to come out better on the other side for it. And then now I think Tam's firmly established. I thought this was excellent, great big show match. Like this could have main evented anything damn near.
Yeah. Aside from Omega and Kenny, I don't think I've seen a better match this year. Well, I take it back. I said Omega Hinamatsuri. Okay, so I would take it back. Okada, Ospreay, Kenny, Phoenix. Those are only 2 matches I think are better than this I've seen this year.
Yeah.
They and then the thing is, right, and I forgot to point this out, like when the first match they had when she passed out. The second, because, you know, they've had 4 matches. The second one was a Grand Prix match. The third one was the rematch for the white belt. The third match was played off of that finish. Like, she has her in the choke, and then Tam, like, passes out, hulks up, and then at the end, she ultimately loses. But it's like, all of this stuff plays on top of each other. Like, this is... I'm not saying this is Mayu and Io Shirai, because they're just another level of athlete than those two. But, like, outside of that, like, I think this is the best starting feud I've personally ever seen to follow through. Like,
good old-fashioned hatred.
Yeah,
like,
good old-fashioned hatred. And it turned into respect at the end, ultimately.
Because they're out there giggling and shit while Giulia's getting her haircut.
Yeah, like, so, yeah, let's go to that part. So, Giulia sits in the chair. Giulia gets there's a barber on hand with a cordless set of hair clippers. She takes the clippers from the dude, hands it to Tam. As tradition in hair matches, where the person that wins gets to scalp a bitch. So Tam gets the clippers, turns them on, grabs her hair from the side, and then turns them off and says, "I can't do it." And then she says something along the lines of like, "Look, you know, if I had lost, I would have stuck up to the stipulation, but I was willing to do anything for this belt. All I wanted was this belt, and I can't do it." So then Giulia was like,
"Man, just do this shit. Quit playing."
She said, "You don't have to do it." And Giulia, and I think this is brilliant, Giulia was like, "Fuck it, let's get this shit over with." He gives it to the barber, cuts her hair, cuts it in like, you know, the Rhea Ripley WWE.
I was gonna say. I saw my boy Hakeem. Shouts out to Hakeem. He was like, "Giulia out there looking like an NXT Women's Champion right now."
Yeah. So Tam's there and she's holding some of the hair from the back while they while the barber cuts through it, and then at the end, all of a sudden, like Tam gets the mic and is like, "How the hell do you look better now?" And then they go back and forth saying a couple of jokes or whatever else. So, but ultimately, Tam, you know, she says, she has her sign off, which is awesome, but also bittersweet, because like she does the We Are Stars scene because like Cosmic Angels haven't signed off yet, and it's like, damn, she's not in Stars anymore. Like it makes you think like I think Mayu would have been in the like I think she would have been in the corner or at ringside crying her eyes out like when she cried during the Arisa and Tam match back in 2019, just being so happy. But like that's not here nor there. Like they're gonna have a match during on one of the big shows, and that's gonna be fucking incredible. But anyway, so says we does sign off. We Are Stars. Mina and Unagi, finishing first and third in the Rumble. Lift up Tam on their shoulders for the picture, for the photo op. Also, one thing of note also as far as storytelling, Tam, when they won those trios belts, had picked up the blue strap. When she was a trios champion in early 2019, she had the pink belt. And I don't know, maybe I'm just headcanon, but Mayu always had the blue belt when they were the trios champions. Giulia, when they were trio champions, Donald Del Mondo, she had the blue belt. When she got her own faction and she won, she didn't pick up the pink belt, she picked up the blue belt. I think that was kind of like, I'm my own fucking person, I'm a leader now. So she's up there with the white belt around her waist, the blue trios champion belt on her shoulder. Take the pictures. She goes up or gets out the ring, collapses when she jumps off the apron, gets to her feet, walks up the ramp, faces the camera, holds the white belt up, or both belts up, but are on her hands, but pulls up the white belt. Tears flowing down her face. She collapses on her back, picks herself up, goes down the aisle or back through the ramp, blowing kisses goodbye. Fan-fucking-tastic. Like,
it's something about beating a dominant champion in their fourth match. That's just emotional. It's something.
I'm like, he's supposed to be talking about Kenny.
It's just something about it. It's just
pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling 101. You build someone up as dominant, and you have somebody that's chasing them. That is, somebody you want to make as big or close to as big, or is already there. It's just they need a push to get them there. And it's like, you put Tam there, and Tam is as reliable as almost anybody else in Stardom. Don't let anybody fucking fool you. And they had this match, and now she's on her way. Like, she was already there. She has as many fucking Twitter followers as anybody except for like 2 people in Stardom. She has more followers than Giulia. She moves merch as much as anybody except for like Mayu. This is the time. Like, if they beat, like, this is her 5th chance at the white belt, and that's the thing why I've always gravitated to her. Like, I started watching Stardom in, I think I have a subscription like mid or early January 2019. So, like, the first Cork and Hall was that 8th anniversary show. And she's having a match against Momo, who was in the middle of, the title defense streak, or whatever else, or the record. And, like, she has this match, and it's like a 4-star, 3 3/4 star match. I'm like, I'm just watching this show, and, like, the people that stick out to me are, like, Mayu, obviously I already know her background, and Utami's, I've heard about her, and Momo, who I've heard about, and like Hannah, because Hannah just stands out. And I see her in this match. I'm like, this Tam girl's fucking good. They're having a killer match. And then at the end, like, Momo wins, and it's like, I just wanted to prove that, like, Stars, our faction is more than just Mayu Iwatani. And then you get the Arisa stuff, and then they have that fucking classic match, and then goes through the Grand Prix, finishes second in her Grand Prix block behind the eventual winner Hannah. Then tag league with Arisa, and they had that great run of matches. And then you get to the 9th anniversary show. She beats Kagetsu in Kagetsu's last like Cork and Hall show in Stardom, and that great post match thing about her progression when she was a manager in Oi Edotai, a former manager in. For 2018 she was a manager. Now she's having 4 3/4 star matches. Anyway, so all of that shit, like this progression and change in character in this run where like she got her first shot in January 2019 to get to 770 some days later, like to get her crowning moment on the biggest show in Stardom history. That's fucking big. It's a great run. It's great storytelling, great story. Like, and there's still more chapters to this. Like, we're going to get like this Mayu thing, and it's going to be fucking incredible. Like, you look at starting the last 2 years, and like 3 of the last 4 biggest storylines are like Tam and Arisa, Tam and Giulia, the split of stars and Cosmic Angels. Like, this was overdue. Like, she is the heat in these streets. She is the person that you put in this shit to make it work as far as story. Like, she is one of the best storytellers in all of professional wrestling, and she finally was able to, finish the book for this run.
I think this is going to be like the most significant like Joshi show that breaks through, and I think a lot of people are going to watch this show. I think fans were made off of this show, and I would like say, because like I said on the last One Nation Radio show, I said I voted Stardom ahead of New Japan in the Observer Awards, and it doesn't feel like how Wrestle Kingdom was. It felt like they pulled this great show out on the day, and then they've even struggled some since, just because of the abundance of shows and lots of they're just going through a rough patch in New Japan right now. But Stardom is so set up to thrive right now because they've got youth coming after what they have on top now, and their youth is like it's crystal clear who it is, and I think they've got great booking, and I think they have a lot of people you can easily invest in. And if there's anything to take away from this show, I wanted to do this show on its own. I didn't want to shortchange it at all, because I think this is one of the most significant shows that not only of the year, I think it's an easy show of the year candidate, right? But like, you're talking about like planting the flag for a promotion. This is it. Like, this is like how I felt like AEW Revolution was for AEW last year.
I mean, I felt that way watching it. Like, I haven't been able to get this show and that match in the main event out of my mind. Like, since, like, I've been just going through Twitter and just seeing like effusive praise just over and over. Like, you don't see that in the wrestling sphere. Like, it's always like something that they nitpicking or blah blah blah. It's like, but everybody is just like over the moon about this show. And I think it's because of the wrestling, and it's also because like whether you were into the story and knew of the story or not, with all this stuff, like, all of the right people won. I think the only real exception you would have with is maybe like if you're a person that's like doesn't like the politics stuff of Nanae, but it's like it was 2 ceiling wrestlers in 2 matches. Like, you have to go 50-50.
Hey, one of them lost. One of them lost.
Like, you have to go 50-50, and it's like you're not going to beat Mayu.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, it's just like this is a home run, or a grand slam actually, a dream slam. But yeah, like this was the first Joshi promotion to run Budokan since like 97. Like, I think this is like the biggest attendance for a Joshi show in like 15 years, something like that. So I imagine it's like Gaia, or maybe the very last like breaths of All Japan Women's. But yeah, like this was a blast. It's gonna be up on Stardom World like sometime tomorrow. Like, if you are somebody that just like, if you're someone that's like, I'm going to buy AEW Revolution, because, and you're just a person that, drops $50 for a pay-per-view, I would suggest you drop the $8 and whatever cents, watch this show when it happens, because like, there ain't no guarantee that Revolution gonna be better than this. It could be, it could not, but there is not no fucking guarantee. It's
I can tell you, they're not going to have the singles wrestling to match it. Like, it's going to be like,
that's for sure.
It's a whole different show. Like,
yeah.
Like, but if you want some classic singles wrestling, like, this is where it's at right here on this show.
Like, the last 5 matches, like all of them, just all hit. Yeah. So, they have a Korakuen Hall show on Sunday, and it is starting right off where we, right before Mina broke her nose. It is Giant Saya and Starlight Kid and Mayu versus Cosmic Angels for the Trios belts. And that is, already know where that's headed. We're about to jumpstart this Cosmic Angels versus Star / Mayu versus Tam thing, and I can't wait for their match. I can't wait for their match for a singles belt. It's never happened before. They've had matches and tournaments in January. They went to a 50-minute draw. It was awesome. Like, them on a big stage, how that match is it's gonna be fucking awesome. Like, for me, I can pretty much already tell you, unless something, I can't even foresee what the fuck will have to happen for this not to be, by the time we talk about it in the year, this not be my favorite match when we do the year review for 2021. It's that important to me. This is like, I can't remember the last time, like, I've been in my mind thinking, like, in just like Johnny Gargano winning the NXT belt, Bayley winning NXT Women's belt, Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30, Sting WCW 97 Starrcade. Like, I don't even know, like, this is up there amongst that as far as my favorite, like, chases and wins for a babyface. Like, it's that important to me. But yeah, I guess we just end the show. I don't know. Otherwise, I keep going.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can keep going, talking how much I love this fucking show. And this match. But yeah. Any last thoughts, Rich?
Yeah, like I was saying, I think it's a put your flag in the ground. Literally, we are Stardom. Like, this is like, like, this is it. Like, and I would just encourage people to don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to just, start watching everything. Just take a little bit at a time, and ease in at your own pace, because I do see people ask sometimes in the Discord, like, hey, how do I start watching, and stuff like that. So I mean, I would start with this whole show personally, but
I would say, if you're a person trying to figure out when to get in, watch this show and then go forward, and then if there's anything that you might want to try to figure out, there are a bunch of people on Twitter that will answer that question. Or you can go join the Discord, and like me or the JML or Zach Porter will point you to the right place and find what you're looking for. There's also some resources on Twitter that can help. I can't remember his name. It's Ostovich or Strakovich or whatever else. He's good with video Stardom history. Also, shouts out to to Wrestling Omakase on the Voice of Wrestling Network. When I was getting into Stardom, right before I listened to a podcast on the history of Stardom. You don't need to go that far back. Like, you don't even have to go far as back as I did. You really, at this point, need to only go back to, like, maybe know a couple things about what happened in 2018, and then you can literally just drop in, or you can just start when, like, Giulia comes into the company, because the roster, this thing with Stardom, like, the roster seems stable now, like, because last year, about this time, the roster seemed kind of stable, and then what happened? Or actually, I take it back, like 14 months ago, like October of 2019, the shit, like, you lose Suzuki, you lose Kagetsu, you lose Hannah, you lose Arisa. And then, like, you look at what they've done with Donald Mondo to fill all that void, and, like, look how fast they've rebuilt. Like, obviously, with Joshi, like, you're going to get uses, but, like, he's, with the resources from Bushiroad or whatever else, like, they were able to reload in a hurry. And obviously, the show is kind of souped up with the seedling, entries or whatever else, but it's like, they could, if they needed to, they could have, maybe it's not this show, but like that Yokohama show from October is fucking incredible. And that was just a big show with a normal card almost. But anyway, thanks for listening to the show. You be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using. Listen to this with. Be sure to check out, or be sure to go to prowrestlingtees.com/Social Suplex, pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise.
Hey, if y'all want to make a donation to the show, y'all can do that right on Red Circle.
Oh yeah, that's right. I need to add that into this. Also, be sure to check out the other shows on the network. One Nation Radio, Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast, Groman Watches Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, and Great Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Peace.
Later.